live. So, hey creationers, how are you? I'm just checking on my phone to see that we are coming live. We are. Excellent. And can you hear us? Perfect, you can. So, I am here. It's just saying, sorry, there's a message that's come up saying, due to Facebook restrictions, we can't see the names and profile pictures of the viewers. Send them a link so they can be granted Be Live permissions. Okay, I'll copy that link and I will try and put that in on another day because I'm not going to be able to do it now. Okay. So after all of that technological fantastic stuff, I wanted to come live and talk to you all today with one of my friends and previous clients, Hannah Joy. I'm really passionate about sharing as much information as I possibly can around the Conscious Creation Business Accelerator, because I think a lot of people in the world, you know, they think they want to coach. They think that's going to solve their problems. They don't really know what the difference is between group programs and individual programs and what would work for who. And I think it's a really important conversation to hear, not just from me and my experiences and expectations around what I'm creating and why, but also from other people's perspectives about what they have experienced and what it did for them, what it can do for you, and just getting that greater 360 perspective of hearing other people's experiences, because we all have a different experience in a different group. So welcome, Hannah. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this. I'm so grateful to you. Aww. And I know you went and got your hair done especially for
it. Absolutely.
So thank you so much for coming in. Would you tell us a little bit about your business?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me. So my name is Hannah and I'm an intuitive healer or spirit conduit and intuitive healing coach. I work with spirit to bring passion, invigoration, connection into people's lives. And I'm really passionate about working with mental health and in the mental health space as well, as that's a really large part of my journey.
Yeah. You've got an incredible journey. So you've done the Conscious Creation Business Accelerator group program twice.
Yes.
Yeah. Would you tell us a little bit about what drew you to the program in the very first instance?
Yeah. Well, so I had met you at a spiritual, well, it wasn't a slumber party, it was a spiritual day retreat.
Oh my God, yes. I forgot about that.
And we had connected there, and then I had followed your business. So I'd followed your business page to begin with. And then I think I saw a post about your group and I joined your group. I think someone had recommended your group, but I can't remember who it was now.
Yeah.
And you ran a free program similar to the one that you did recently. It was a 5-day challenge, I believe.
Yeah.
In your group, and I was just blown away with the amount of content that you had in there and all of your insights, and and I've always been a really like intuitive person, like in general, but especially when it comes to choosing who I work with, and I go with my gut, and my gut was just like, oh my gosh, you have to work with this woman. So, when I got to the end of it, I saw your offer for the accelerator and just knew that it was what I needed to do.
Yeah.
And, I remember at the time just being like, yeah, this is the next step for my business.
Yeah, that's amazing. So what were you expecting when you joined? Because was that your first group program that you'd been in?
I'm trying to remember. I actually think it was my first group coaching program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd done a one-on-one mentorship with someone else, but that was one-on-one and rather than
So when like, if you can recall, what was it that you thought you were going to get when you kind of joined, and then what did you actually experience? Was it the same? Was it different?
Good question.
I'm good at that.
I think what I was looking for was clarity, that's for sure. And that was like one piece of your description. It was a combination between getting that clarity and like connection from you, but also being able to enjoy that space of being with other people who are working on their businesses and finding their understanding their journey and all collaborating together. That felt, I think as well, when you're working in a small business by yourself, it can be really isolating. So having that like collaboration and companionship with other people in the program was something that I was really looking forward to as well.
Yeah. And then what did you experience when you were in there?
A lot. A lot of growth. A world full of content, which is why I'm so appreciative that you allow people to have access to that content after the program as well. That long access is like incredibly like invaluable. It's amazing. I think as well, it was for me at the time in my business, I was looking for a lot more, like I felt like I was looking for a lot more structure, and I was. But it was like being like someone who's like, yeah, I really want to learn how to be clean. And then when it comes to like actually like doing the doing the work, it's like a lot more challenging trying to change a habit. So I discovered the amazing patience that you have and how you completely over deliver when it comes to the time and investment and like being available for people when they have questions throughout the week. And I think like for anyone that does the program, like for me, I think the second time around I was a little bit better with it, but really taking advantage of the fact that you mean it when you say like stuff throughout the week, I'm here, and you are there. You're not one of those coaches who says, yeah, you're going to get all of this and I'm going to deliver this, and then you get to the end and they haven't actually been available throughout the week. It's like a once a week kind of thing, and then they disappear. I've had that experience before.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I really it's important to me because the magic happens during the week, but I kind of feel like a lot of the clients that I work with are very similar to me. And when you're in the call, you can have that moment of clarity and you can go, of course, I know exactly what I'm doing. And then you go away to kind of implement it and you're like, you get the wobbles. And all of a sudden you're like, I'm not sure what was that again? And yes, you've got the recordings, you can watch the recordings again, but it's somehow shifted and you need that reminder or that check-in or that something. And I think that's where the added value from my perspective, just it matters. You can't leave it another week because in 12 weeks it goes quick, right?
Yeah, it goes really, really quickly.
It does. But you can achieve a lot in that time if you use, like, if you don't sit there and just wait for the weekly calls, right? Yeah. So when Hannah's talking about the content being available in the Conscious Creation Business Accelerator, you have a Facebook group where we all connect. Then we have weekly Zoom calls. And then you also have a members area, which is in a platform called Teachable, which has all of the content and lots of self-study modules. So it's almost like you have access to the Facebook group and all of the processes that you can maintain your accountability during the week. Then you have the members area where you can continue learning and growing, and you get lifetime access to both of those. So it's not like you're in for 12 weeks and then you're kicked out. The expectation is to continue with all of the good habits and all of the amazing routines that you've been able to create that have supported you to gain an outcome that you wanted when you dived in. And I'm really pleased about that because I get to see that everyone still keeps their hand in ever so slightly around what it is that they're doing. But I know they're picking up all the expert interviews that come into play, all of the updated content that I've put in there. And yeah, it's good to see that still gets used. So tell me about you coming back into the accelerator for the second time.
Yeah. So me coming back into the accelerator for the second time was after a really, really turbulent time in my life. And it's interesting, like the program is sold and advertised as being about, accelerating your business. But what I like is how you really balance the fact that you're a human being running a business and you have a life, alongside your business that also needs support and healing.
Yeah.
And so I'll just be like honest about my journey. So last year, I had a very serious mental health episode and ended up in hospital for 5 weeks. And after that, just needed a lot of healing and guidance around how do I heal myself? How do I still run my business? Can I still run my business? And it was the right time to re-enter the space and have that support. And I felt, I don't want to say funny, but it was a very different experience to the first experience, because I remember like one of the first calls, like I could barely even leave my room. I was so like not in the right space. So it was really about those foundations of rebuilding myself and going back into all of the core like human needs that I needed at that time, and things like the mindset pathway in the mornings and the eating ritual was like my godsend through that time. Like it almost makes me feel a little bit emotional now, like talking about it, because like having you over those 12 weeks when I had literally just come out of that time was really, really healing for me. And allowed me to reconnect to what I learned in the first accelerator, which is when I got a lot of clarity around what my meaning is behind my business and why I do it, and that was mental health. And I didn't have that clarity before I did the first accelerator, so you gave me a lot of confirmation around that. And so actually going, okay, if my soul client is an extension of me and my journey and my story, maybe my business can be about healing myself this year and reconnecting to that, and then building upon that, like moving forward.
That was like, from my perspective, truly honored that you came back into that space and were open. But I am so proud of you for doing it, because it wasn't easy, but you've never been one to take the easy road about anything. But keeping you on that pathway of building some foundations for you to recenter and ground yourself was incredibly unsatisfying for you at times, because you wanted to be accelerating. But you have, now that you've got those in place, and we were saying just before we came on live that tomorrow is your 12-month anniversary, having come outside the other side of that episode, and how incredible your life has all of a sudden just 180'd again. And you're on this incredible pathway of working in a job that you enjoy, having a business that you are running and enjoying, and moving, and life is just full again. And that's a year, and that's just to me, that's accelerated. To me, it is like, wow. But it was your tenacity that kept you going, and your inability to just stop. And I think it wasn't you had such a keenness to still grow and learn from the experience that you were going through. And it was really beautiful to be included in that. Because you were remarkable, and you were a real shining light for a lot of other people in the group at the time, with your courage and your bravery and your vulnerability and your openness and all of these skills and beautiful qualities that you have all of the time. So it was just you were an integral part of that accelerator too. So tell us, apart from like the mindset pathway and such, like what were some of those skills that you learned in either time of the accelerator that really last for you, that you still use, you still work on, you still rely on?
Yeah. Definitely one of the biggest takeaways has been the energetic boundaries piece, especially being someone who works so closely with spirit as well, and being a strong empath and being able to find that balance between like running a business and being really passionate about it and going too far down one end of the spectrum, which is, I think, one of the things for me. There were a lot of things that contributed to me having my breakdown, but that was like one of the pieces that I needed to really solidify, and that I learned a lot, especially like the second time around. I touched on it before, but just getting clarity around my brand and my soul client and who I'm actually here to serve and what I'm here to do, and being able to wake up in the morning and step into that why and that mission and channel that in. I think that helps you to really work with the law of attraction in your business and start manifesting the kinds of people in your business that you really want to have.
Yeah.
And I noticed like one thing, especially after the first one, it reminds me of like doing piano lessons as a child and wanting to play the song straight away and getting really frustrated to do the scales. And you're doing all of the groundwork and the foundations, and that's what you, I think, really beautifully like solidify like throughout the program and the way that you deliver it, especially with like the weekly like meditations that we do as well. And I found that I think I got frustrated in the first one being like, come on, like I want my business to be like taking off. And then it literally was like towards the end of it, all of that groundwork stuff really solidified. And then I landed like my first like 12-week coaching client, and then I landed my first 6-month one. And then it was like, okay, so it is literally like those foundations that you build and then the rewards like turn out afterwards. That was one of the things that I really took away. Gosh, I learned so much. And there's still so much that I'm still continuing to learn from it as well, because of having that access to the online like platform on Teachable, and also being a part of the community still on Facebook. And I think grounding was one of the things too that I needed to learn and anchor myself. Like being a woo-woo entrepreneur, it's really easy to like, fly up above the stratosphere and forget the importance of coming back into your body and reminding yourself that you're here on the physical earth plane. And I think you have a really powerful way of working with empaths and intuitives in that way, because you're so grounded yourself, but you connect to the more like ethereal or intuitive like side of things too. It's that balancing between the masculine and the feminine that I got a lot from doing the program too. I could go on about stuff.
Lovely to hear. Thank you. One thing that's coming up for me, and I'm like, I need to talk about that, because when we talk about the program, like we know what it is and we know what it was like.
Yeah.
But for you, what did you actually experience like week on? What did you think? Because there were, I don't know, 6 people in your group or so, and you're all doing different things. So you've all got your own business. Some are spiritual entrepreneurs, and some were creating more mainstream businesses, even though they are spiritual entrepreneurs, if that makes sense. So how was it? How did you feel that it was actively managed when everyone was creating something very different?
Yeah. Good question. I felt like it was a really powerful way to, like, it's not like you're sitting on a call. Like sometimes I've been in other group programs since, or like group run things. And sometimes you're on a call and you kind of just feel like you have like your like little segment of the call and then nothing else like feels really relevant for you. But I feel like you get so much from the calls with you because there's a way that you weave in the advice or the coaching or however you want to word it, that things are applicable to you to learn as well, and you learn through seeing the stresses or the wins that people are having in their businesses as well. So there's that connection that you get like to community, and I think that's another really big like part of your skill set or what you bring together is that like collaboration effect of being able to go, oh, actually that's come up in my business, or maybe I need to listen to that too because that's something that applies to me. Yeah, does that kind of answer the question?
Yeah, I think that answers the question beautifully. I love because I guess it's not one of the things that I never wanted to do, having been in programs myself, was sit and say, well, you know, we're all going to learn how to create a business, and every single week it's going to be another step on that rung of the ladder. Whereas my take on it was that actually Hannah's here to run her business, Alison's here to run her business, Mary Jane is here to run her business, and everyone is going at a different pace, everyone's going to a different outcome, and yet, like you've said, we can all have the same conversations and learn and give value when we have something to add to that, which again I think was leads to that community piece that you mentioned, which I loved.
Yeah. I think one thing I'll add to that too, because it's just coming up, is like the calls that you do and the way that the 12 weeks work is it's time relevant. And what I mean by that is like you don't go, so week 1 is about this, week 2 is about this, week 3 is about this, and then you're kind of like not getting coached on or supported with the stuff that's coming up for you at the time that it's coming up for you. And I think that's one of the things in comparison to other programs that I've done or seen that's quite different.
So when we're talking about that, you have a responsibility to come to the session with your questions for the week, to say, what is it that I need to learn this week? What is it that I want to know? But you're doing that against the plan that we've already set at the beginning of the 12 weeks, right? So we're doing that with, hey, Hannah's coming out the other end. This is the time, and that's during our one-to-one of this is what we're going to do and how we envisage doing it. But if things shift or move in the weeks, then we'll talk about that and rejig, for want of a technical word term, the plan. And that is important because there are times when we needed to zig and zag in plans, you know, and knowing that it's okay to do that and knowing that it still gets you the results, which is what you wanted of, you know, your first 6-month client, your first 12-week client, and your group program, you know, ramping up and such and such and such. Because it's not a quick fix. It's not we can just tweak this one thing and then your business will be, you know, going gangbusters. It's about creating something that's got longevity that you can sustain so that you can rely on your structures, your systems, your processes, your skills. It builds repeatable processes and repeatable systems that allow you to still have creative time to write your book.
Yes, to write the book.
Write the book. So listen, thank you so much for doing this call. I guess I've got one more question for you. What would you say to anyone who is on the fence about joining, hasn't necessarily worked with a coach before, or has worked with a coach and isn't sure that the accelerator is for them? What would you say to them?
The accelerator is for you. No, but yeah. No, if you're on the fence because you've been, I don't know, burnt before in programs, or you haven't done a program before, like this is the program compared to other programs that I've done that over delivers even after you've done the program. Like it's not 12-week and you're out, goodbye, like kind of thing. It's the program that will like introduce you to people that you can have like, you know, that real connection with to support you in your business as well. There's that community feel and vibe. It's the one that will lay down all of the strong foundations for your business that will give you like true longevity. There's just so many things about it, but I think also there's a real uniqueness about the way that you deliver your work. It's grounded and balanced and has all of that business factor, but it also combines that woo-woo intuitive element that I haven't seen in other programs. So do it. Don't be on the fence.
Don't be on the fence. Thank you. Thank you so much, Hannah. I really, really appreciate you coming on and sharing your experience within the accelerator, because you've had an incredible journey and it's one to watch, guys. Would you kindly, after we've finished this, pop your details for yourself, your business, in the comments of this video so that everyone that wants to reach out and connect with you can do? Perfect.
And also, if anyone like wants to like ask me questions or anything about the program and they're thinking about it, like I'm happy for you to private message me as well.
Oh, thank you, Hannah. That's amazing. Awesome, 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 awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much. If you are interested in talking to me about the Conscious Creation Business Accelerator to see if it is for you, I will put a link to a discovery call, a clarity call in the comments. And I'd love for you just to reach out and schedule a time. If you know more, you can make a better decision. So get curious and ask the questions, reach out to myself, reach out to Hannah, and you know, make a change. Something needs to give in order for you to create a change and accelerate. So thanks again, Hannah. And we'll speak to you all soon. Bye.